folks, it seems like the dam in the Republican Party is about to break wide open because we have some brand new reporting tonight that Donald Trump is pretty pissed off at Speaker Mike Johnson, members of the House Republican caucus, and as well as Elon Musk for the way that the debt ceiling negotiations worked out, for the way that the government spending bill negotiations worked out. He feels like he should have taken the lead on some of these things and that his requests were ignored. And we all know that Donald Trump is a man-child. And so when he's ignored, he makes it known to people. So I'm going to talk about this reporting with you tonight. Let's just dive right in. So I'm sure many of you have been following the story surrounding a possible government shutdown. It was scheduled to take place on Saturday, December 21st at 12:01 in the morning if Congress didn't pass a bill to fund the government. But thankfully, they did. The House passed a bill that was negotiated by Democrats and Republicans. It passed 366 to 34 to 1. 170 Republicans voted yes. 196 Democrats also voted yes. However, 34 House Republicans voted no, kind of showing you that House Republicans can't keep their own members in line. But the main part of this story that I want to talk to you about today is this part right here. The fact that no debt ceiling increase was included in the bill. House Republicans weren't moved at all by Donald Trump's demands to lift the borrowing cap. Trump effectively asked for one thing, and he didn't get it. One thing. And that's no joke. He put out a designated social media post to talk about the debt ceiling. He said, Congress must get rid of or extend out to perhaps 2029, the ridiculous debt ceiling. Without this, we should never make a deal. Remember, the pressure is on whoever is president. And then what did House Republicans turn around and do? They went and made a deal. They made a deal that did not include an increase to the debt ceiling, a suspension of the debt ceiling at all. They kind of told Donald Trump to go kick sand. Go get out of here. We're ignoring you now. And that has really angered Donald Trump. The fact that his one demand that he put his name behind was not included in this government funding bill. And we have some reporting from a Politico reporter tonight confirming exactly that. This reporter wrote on social media, quote, Trump is not happy that the spending deal doesn't include the debt ceiling, according to a person who spoke with him this evening. It's not clear he'll publicly try to stop the bill in the Senate, but Trump is not thrilled that this bill doesn't contain his main ask. Now, it is a little bit later in the evening. The Senate is working on this bill right now, so I don't expect Donald Trump to try to come out publicly to sink the bill, but you can bet that Donald Trump is behind the scenes kind of talking smack about Speaker Mike Johnson, the House Republicans, and the many people who kind of just told him to get lost, kick rocks, and get out of here. We're doing this. We're passing this bill. You can imagine that he's letting his frustration be known. And I would also expect that maybe he won't post about this bill prior to it passing the Senate, but I would not be surprised if later in the evening at like 3 in the morning, as Trump typically does, he posts about the bill and how all these people ignored him and he's so upset about it. And whatnot. And, you know, this is a pretty interesting that this is the dynamic here, that Donald Trump is upset about the debt ceiling not being included because Speaker Mike Johnson was painting a different story. It seems like there's also a communication fracture recently because this Spectrum reporter posted on social media that Mike Johnson said, quote, I was in constant contact with Donald Trump throughout this process, spoke with him most recently about 45 minutes ago. He knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he is happy about this outcome as well. So there's a little bit of a split there. Donald Trump is unhappy. Mike Johnson, I guess, is lying to the American people, pretending that Donald Trump is satisfied with the bill, so people say, oh yeah, you know, MAGA kind of nods along and pretends that it's great. But it seems like there's a little bit of a divide. Trump is angry that his one request wasn't included. Mike Johnson's trying to paint a rosy picture of what happened. It seems like the Republicans are just in a mess. And this is why I kind of say that I think the dam is about to break wide open. You know, Republicans are trying to portray themselves as a united being, as one, that the party is working together in tandem. And it's obviously not the truth. You kind of see stuff like this where Trump is behind the scenes. He's asking for one thing. The Republicans say no. Mike Johnson's saying one thing. Donald Trump is saying another. There's just a lot of miscommunication. And as I mentioned earlier, it also appears that there might be a little bit of a fracture forming between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I know this probably doesn't surprise anybody because, I've said before on this channel that when you put two egotistical billionaires in a room and you try to get them to work together, that's kind of a recipe for disaster. But during all of these debt ceiling negotiations, this government funding bill negotiations, Elon Musk has been very involved. He came out against the original 1,500-page bill that was negotiated by Democrats and Republicans and called it terrible, said that it should be voted against and that any Republican who votes for it should be primaried in 2 to 4 years. And then the bill sank. Donald Trump came out after the fact. Elon Musk was against it first, Donald Trump was against it second, and that spurred Democrats to kind of point out how, hey, it kind of seems like Elon Musk is the president here, not really Donald Trump. It seems like Musk is president-elect, not Donald Trump. And this got under Donald Trump's skin so much so, and his team's skin so much so, that Donald Trump's spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, responded to the Elon Musk is the real leader rhetoric from Democrats, saying, quote, as soon as Donald Trump released his official stance on the CR, the continuing resolution to fund the government, Republicans on Capitol Hill echoed his point of view. Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, full stop. This has annoyed Trump so much so that his team put out a statement confirming that, Donald Trump is actually the leader of the Republican Party. He's the president-elect, not President-elect Elon Musk. I mean, as I was kind of saying earlier, this man is a man-child. He's a child stuck in a man's body. He feels very hurt by the fact that people are correctly pointing out that it seems like Donald Trump has kind of taken a backseat role in the government and that Elon Musk is kind of leading the Republican Party forward, which I think anybody with two eyes can see that being the case. And you can kind of see a little bit of a fracture forming. We already had reporting that Elon Musk was overstaying his welcome at Mar-a-Lago, and many of Trump's advisors are calling him co-president and whatnot. And it really seems like that point of view has taken fruition and has become reality, so much so that Trump is putting out statements. So it really seems like the Republican Party is just not in a good place right now. The Democrats had to bail them out again to keep the government open, and Trump is mad at Speaker Mike Johnson. He's mad at Elon Musk. There's lies, there's miscommunication, there's tension. It's just a complete and total mess. But folks, that's what the Republican Party and Donald Trump's leadership is going to look like for the next 4 years. It's going to be billionaires competing to see who can be the loudest in the room at any given point on any given issue. Now, that to me sounds pretty terrible, and I think that to you as well probably sounds awful, but this is what MAGA Republicans wanted. They wanted Elon Musk and Donald Trump to be running the government, and so now we're going to have things like this on issues as basic as funding the government, on issues as basic as that, where normally parties can come together to fund the government. That's no longer going to be a guarantee. That's no longer going to be the expectation. With Donald Trump at the helm of the country, not even just the Republican Party, the country, our government may not be funded. That's going to be a question we have to answer every once in a while, and can't expect Republicans to just go along with it and say, hey, this is an important thing we need to do. So anyway, just pure insanity in Washington, D.C. today. Expect more of it, unfortunately, but I will keep you updated if we learn anything further about this story and if Donald Trump ever goes public with his criticism. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. It really, really helps. I really appreciate it. Also, drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. I'm always excited to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.